All right. Guess what? I think we're live. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2020. I don't know if we've ever had a Zoom fallout on Valentine's Day before. I don't recall it ever happening. That's why when I was looking ahead and planning it, I was like, we should do a Valentine's Day episode. Not that I have any clue what we'll be talking about. Greg and I were sharing ahead of time that we might.
We should not share.
no, we should not share. We were talking about like nerdy pickup lines and things that we could share.
Nice assets.
Yep. So there's some low-hanging fruit there for sure.
This is not HR approved. I'm not getting sued.
Right, exactly. Well, years ago, you remember I did that video. It was like the top 5 bookkeeper pickup lines or something like that.
Yeah, you kind of did it like.
I did it in David Letterman style. Yep, I even had the index cards and tossed them, and my videographer at the time did the sound effect. It was actually kind of perfect. But anyway, today's a new day. And we have new pickup lines. Actually, Greg, we had some funny ones, but I can't remember any of them now.
Well, unfortunately, we have a record for perpetuity because we kept track of them in Slack.
Was it in Slack?
Yeah, Matthew, that was what I thought you were going to say in regards to what your prediction about Zoom is going to be, and I'm predicting that they are going to try to compete with Slack here very, very soon.
Oh, I'd love it.
I noticed.
So Zoom, we have their phone system, which I really don't use yet because it doesn't do text messaging or multimedia messaging, which I would need. But if it actually combined Slack, like aspects of it, and integrated with other things, now we're talking. Now we're starting to put like an all-in-one communications platform, which is like.
Wait, how are you doing that?
Yeah, how would Zoom be Slack?
If they built it out, if they added the app features, is what I'm saying.
So you would do the Zoom like within the Slack framework?
It'd be Slack,
kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, it would be Zach. All right, so here we go. Valentine's Day. Why do accountants make good lovers?
Because I'm not going to.
Because they're great with figures. Come on.
I thought it was because they love to multiply.
That's a good one.
Wait, what did you say?
Because they love to multiply.
Because I love them. Well, that is good. All right, why accountants don't read novels? That actually isn't really proper English the way that's worded. But why don't accountants read novels? Because the only numbers in them are page numbers.
And chapter numbers.
No, chapters are usually titles, not numbers. Well, I guess it could be chapter 1. Anyway.
Chapters are usually numbers.
That's true. All right.
I'm a buzzkill. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Let me just Google bookkeeper pickup lines.
Does someone actually like have that on the webs, like on the internet? Like
I made a video.
We do now.
Years ago called the top 5 bookkeeper pickup
yeah,
lines.
I do remember your video, but like I don't.
Yeah.
I think you're like the only one. So you'll be referencing your own material when you.
Let's see if I show up in the search results.
I think
for
we
bookkeeper.
should make our own rap.
There was an accounting rap song that some guy did years ago that was really funny. It was actually pretty good, and there have been others since.
What if we started a lip sync challenge like all the police and fire departments all did? Against all the different groups. The different groups have to do different lip sync challenges. I'm saying this publicly, right? But that'd be cool.
So what's the difference between accountant pickup lines, chartered accountant pickup lines, and tax accountant pickup lines?
How much it costs?
Right.
So you know what I didn't ever do, which I should have, was I should have written them out. Because when I do the Google search for bookkeeper pickup lines, I do get pages that presumably at one time would have had the video on them, but they no longer do. Because they're hosted by those we don't speak of. Anyway. Google top 5
Valimore,
bookkeeper
or what's
pickup
it?
lines and make sure you find the YouTube result. And then you'll get to, I found it actually. I'll just share the video. I guess I could share my screen and we can listen to them. Does everybody just want to see this? Hear it? All right, let's do it. All right, let's see if I remember how to do the share computer sound. There we go. And then, Matthew, do I need to click optimize for full screen video clip or no?
No, I never do. But
All right. All right. Let me know if it's too loud or anything.
turn it down a little bit.
I can't even hear it. Wait, hold on. I don't even hear it, but hold on.
Cut it off.
What?
Stop.
Oh, my music is probably playing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
It
shutting
sounds
off.
like invisible water or something.
Okay.
Are you sick and tired of talking about numbers and bookkeeping? Let's try something a little different. Let's talk about the top 5 bookkeeper pickup lines. Number 5. I think you and I would reconcile perfectly. Number 4. Let's go back to my place so I can take your inventory. Number 3. You've got great assets. Number 2. Can I get your digits? And the number 1 bookkeeper pickup line. Excuse me, where do I make a deposit?
Kids today. And there you have it.
That was pretty good, actually. And it wasn't, like, too bad. Good job.
What year was that, Seth?
That was 2014.
Okay.
That was a long time
6
ago.
years Yeah.
Why? Did it look
no.
like it was a long time ago?
No. I was just curious because I hadn't come across that one. So,
Oh,
I didn't know. It's not on your YouTube channel, right?
it's not my YouTube channel. It's from
Oh, gotcha.
it's from another time.
A dark time.
Yeah, in a
Okay.
galaxy far, far away.
Previous life.
When I was on the dark side of the forest.
That's probably why I haven't come across that one.
Yeah. So anyway, if you got any of your own to contribute, just chime in with your bookkeeper pickup lines. That last one was funny. I remember we discussed that one at length because we weren't sure if people would find that one offensive, but it was funny. So anyway, I like something, one of the, actually, to be very honest, all joking aside, one of the inspirations that sort of hit me when I thought of doing this subject today was based on a conversation I had with Greg a long time ago when we were at the Huntington Library. And Greg, do you remember what you said to me? We were talking about like relationships in general and relationships with our wives. And I loved what you said. I don't know if you remember what I'm referring to, but it was.
Did I say never stop dating?
Exactly. Never stop dating, right? Like that's what happens, right? That's what kind of fades out over time in a lot of relationships, right? We just get comfortable, we get complacent. And I love that idea of never stop dating. Like always make believe it's like your first week dating your significant other, your partner, whatever the politically correct term is to call it these days. And just like I try to remember to do that sometimes. Like my wife actually once told me that she's afraid to tell me about anything that she wants because these things have a way of showing up at our doorstep whenever she says, hey, I'd love to have X, like it just shows up because I get those things for her because I love to make her happy,
I would just recommend, you should probably put out there, never stop dating your spouse.
Your person, yeah.
Yeah. Just saying.
Oh, you mean as opposed to dating others?
Yeah. Different distinction, power of words, but.
If you guys are into that, then.
Yeah, there are parts of our country. It's actually apparently quite popular in Silicon Valley from some things I've read that people have, quote unquote, open relationships.
I've got a little crew here in town where, the guy is always out with his wife, and sometimes he's out with his wife, and it appears to be his girlfriend's plural. Not exactly sure what's going on, but
There's a Tim Ferriss podcast episode where he interviews this psychologist who's written a book about the subject. I forget the name of her or the book, but because I didn't honestly have that much interest in reading it. But the podcast was interesting because her book is really about these, so-called polygamous relationships and how it has gotten popular in certain sects of the country and the world even. And where there's different sort of formats of it, where some people, they have these open relationships where it's like don't ask, don't tell. Others actually want to come back and share with one another about their experiences. And I don't know. I just can't imagine how that can be healthy. But, I guess according to her, for some people it works. I guess. Anyway, but so going back to your point, Matthew, you're probably right. We should probably be very clear. Never stop dating your significant other, assuming you have one, right?
I bought my dogs dog treats. They're my
There
Valentines.
You go. Yep. Your dog is your Valentine. That's sweet. So what's everybody doing for Valentine's Day? I think many of us here are in a relationship, as far as I know. I don't know all your personal lives, but anybody doing anything particularly special or exciting? Greg, what are you doing for your wife tonight?
Nothing.
Perfect.
So the Valentine's tradition is that she goes on a date with her son, and her daughter goes on a date with her dad, and that is Valentine's Day. My kids don't live around, so it's a solo night for me, but it's all good, and we've got some plans with friends later on as well.
All right. So it's a Netflix night for you.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
You have to get the recliner chair that I got for these occasions. Have you seen the pictures?
I've seen the picture, and I've actually looked in my living space to see where
one would go.
And it's just not gonna fit, and it definitely is not the style that my wife is going with down there.
Yeah, I didn't even give it that much thought. I just said, this is really cool. I'll find a place to stick it in the house. And right now, this is exactly what I've done until we figure out a more permanent location for it. It's just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
But it's so comfy.
It's so comfortable. It doesn't matter. I just lose. Last night at one point, I was getting ready to go to bed, but I wanted to do a couple quick things that I could do from my mobile. And I reclined in the chair and I kicked back, and it was just so nice. It's so cozy. Like, that's the thing. Once I get in it, I never want to leave it. That's the problem.
So can I ask everybody, what has been the coolest Valentine's Day experience they've had? Or actually, here's a better one. These are more fun. What's the worst Valentine's Day experience you've had that you can share? Anybody want to share one?
The coolest Valentine's Day?
The
nothing stands out for me.
Well, my husband, the first year that my husband and I were together for Valentine's Day, we took a permit to carry class together.
Oh, what?
It's conceal carry, permit to carry.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's romantic.
Well,
Let's shoot each other.
Wait, you know what he surprised me with last night? He bought tickets and scheduled everything for the USCCA convention or conference or whatever it is in Missouri next month. So we're getting a little getaway.
Nice. Nice. I was actually pissed this week because I planned ahead. On like January 25th, I ordered something for my wife, which according to the way the item was advertised would arrive within 2 weeks, which would have been perfect timing to get here a little bit early for today, Valentine's Day. Apparently, I didn't read the fine print because I got back from my trip to Florida and I was like, I wonder where that's at. And I started looking up the order and trying to track it, and it hadn't even shipped yet. And then I noticed the fine print, which said it's delivered within 14 days of when it ships.
Yeah.
And it hadn't shipped yet, which means it was apparent that I wasn't getting it by Valentine's Day. So I wrote kind of a scathing email to the company and said, if you can't get it here by Friday, please cancel my order. And it's weird because I didn't get a response, but a little while later, I got a notification that the item shipped. but it's not getting here today.
Well, expect it in the next 14 days.
Yeah. And I still may issue a charge back for the item because it more than pissed me off that, it was clearly advertised as a Valentine's Day gift. And, as such, I'm sure they can reasonably expect that we're hoping to get it by Valentine's Day. And in my opinion, they should have made it clear if it wasn't going to be able to get here by Valentine's, or give me an option for overnight music or something.
So can you tell us what it is? Because now I'm curious.
All right. Well, let me look it up online because my wife is across the house and she will hear, and I don't want to spoil it.
You mean she doesn't watch your Zooms?
I was going to say she might watch your Zoom.
No, she doesn't watch them, but she hears them. She hears everything, and oftentimes offers commentary after the
Always listening.
Exactly. And she'll let me know if she thinks I talk too much and didn't give other people a chance to talk. That's probably one of the most common criticisms I get from her. So let me see if I can find this thing.
Well, while you're pulling that up, I'll let you guys know what our Valentine's tradition is one card that we got for each other. We got the same card for each other the same year, and so now we just pass the card back and forth. We don't even get cards.
Oh, that's very funny.
You add a new note every year?
No, that might be a good idea, but
that's a really cool thing, though. I love it. Like, imagine if you put like one cool thing from the year or something.
Yeah.
I still love what you're talking about. That's really neat. I'm a hopeless romantic at heart.
All right, so hold on. I have to do something here. I guess it doesn't matter. If you all go on Google, you're going to find it anyway. Oh, and look, it's a fraction of what I paid for it now. Of course, because now you definitely aren't getting it today.
Wow. Good job.
I feel like that's not the exact one I got her, though. Hold on a second. Yeah, my wife, my everything. I thought the quote was a little different for some reason. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one I believe I'm getting for her.
I always worry about Wish. Does anybody else shop on Wish?
I've never shopped on Wish before, and this is another site selling the same thing. I didn't buy it from them.
Okay. I always feel like they're the ones behind the, Russian make your face look
right.
The what?
Wish just feels like when you go to Wish and you look at stuff there, I feel like it's the same company that did the whole Russian, make yourself look like your parents when they're older.
Oh, that's funny.
Identity thing.
I always get the weirdest things to show up in Facebook on Wish. You might like these pants that absorb farts.
Oh God, that's a great Valentine's Day gift. Here you go, honey.
Actually, she probably would appreciate it.
For me?
Why doesn't that show up on my husband's Facebook?
Wait, you are checking your husband's Facebook?
No, she's saying
we
she
both
wants
have
him to get it.
Just kidding.
We both have each other's Facebook on our phones.
I'm just kidding.
Just because it's easier that way. Because sometimes I don't respond to things, and he once had a whole conversation with me just by messaging me on his phone and then logging in as me and messaging back. Apparently, I agreed to a lot of stuff I wouldn't have agreed to otherwise.
Hey, it's binding.
I was going to say written record, yeah. Be sure to copy, paste, and just save it so they can't do the removed. All
right, now I found it. I actually found it on the site where I bought it. So apparently there's different versions of it. So this is the actual one. Because when I read the other quote, I was like, I don't even like that. This is what I got for her.
Very nice.
Yeah, because this really kind of spoke to the way I would define our relationship.
Good man, dude.
Yep, I saw that. I was like, this is perfect. But now I'm pissed that it's not coming here on time. But anyway, and then she already gave me what she had gotten. She got us these really nice canvases of Ralphie and Xena that we're going to hang in the bedroom.
Right.
And here, hold on, let me get them. Of course, I started crying as soon as I saw these. Hold on.
I thought we were going to do like flower math today or something.
How do you do flower math?
How do you not do flower math, Teresa?
Okay, I'm missing something.
No, there was no joke. I just thought like maybe we're going to do an example like with a florist or something. Anybody have a florist as a client?
No.
Man, I wish I did. Okay. As a guy, that'd be the best client because you could always bring home flowers, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Shh. He's back.
You can't.
My husband
I
won't
buy
bring
flowers.
flowers because he's allergic to them.
Oh.
I
Can
buy
you read
flowers.
that?
A nice picture.
That was Ralphie when he was a little puppy when we had just gotten him.
Oh, I love that.
Yep. And then for Xena,
Cool idea. I like that.
Yeah. Now I know what to get my grandma for Christmas. She has a dog she loves.
yeah. Yep. So these are going in the bedroom.
It's cool that we live in a time where photos can be transformed into just about anything.
Yep.
Works of art.
Yep.
Mary, my assistant, she actually had big, like, weighted blankets made with pictures of her son to give to her mom for Christmas. And they were awesome looking. And talk about a great gift, right? Here's a picture of your grandson. Go get warm and snuggled up with it. That's just neat.
Yeah, and it's neat, I don't remember that. Like, I have all my pictures on my phone, but like, we can do so many cool things with the pictures. That's good to remember.
And saving them. I mean, I've still got boxes of photos, where you took them in and you came back a week later or whatever to get them. Back in my day.
I have a ton of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to be so careful how many pictures we took. We only had 24 or 28. Don't take the picture yet.
So when you go to the restaurant and you say, hey, can you take our picture? And the waiter is always, taking 18 pictures for you because you never know when you're going to be in the wrong pose or somebody's blinking and they always take 18 pictures. That wasn't a thing back
no.
So here's another thing that I thought of doing that I'm thinking seriously of doing, but I keep going back and forth. I can't decide if it's creepy or not, but shortly after we had put Alfie and Xena to sleep, I stumbled on this. Basically, you can send them pictures of your pet, and they will create like a plush toy clone of your pet. And part of me is like, I want something like that, like where I can hold them, even though of course I know it's not really them. But part of me is like, maybe it's a little creepy. Maybe that's a little over the line. But obviously people do it,
Yeah, according to this, 50,000.
Yeah.
It's creepy and amazing all at the same time.
Yeah. I can't decide. And they're not cheap, which I wouldn't expect them to be. But
I mean, $250
look at the other dog. Oh wait, that's the fake one. Which one's the real one? That's really sad. I can't tell that.
I think this is the real one. That's the fake one.
That's pretty amazing. You can't tell.
Yeah.
I thought the one on the far left was looking at the other one like, what is this thing? Which is
do you get it while are you supposed to get it while your dog's still alive?
I guess some people do. It didn't occur to me until after we had put them to sleep to do something like this. Like, that would be weird to get it while they're still alive, and then they're looking at their own likeness in a plush toy form. Imagine it like attacked it. Like, who is this imposter?
You could do Ralphie and Xena slippers.
That's true.
Or golf club covers.
Except I don't play golf.
Weird.
The golf club covers are great to give for kids for puppets. My grandpa gives my kids the golf club covers, and they play with them like puppets. They're amazing.
It was one of the reviews said so ugly.
Wait, where?
Down just a little bit. Right there. I waited almost.
Oh, that is a pretty bad one.
Oh, that's terrible.
I'm surprised they would put that on their site.
Well, hold on. We didn't
It's
actually
a
see
feet.
what the dog looks like.
It says, "Don't waste your money on this company. Total ripoff. Looks nothing." Why would they show this?
Well,
Maybe
these are honest.
But it's
Are
on
those
there.
the
I guess it
Google
is honest to
reviews,
show it, but
But if it's a Google review and they have it connected to their site, they
Right.
have no control on what shows and what doesn't.
yeah, it looks
No,
like
this
they
is-
just embedded a feed of reviews somehow.
It's a widget.
Let's look at the 44 hate it sentence. That's what we always tend to focus on, are
The negative,
the
yeah.
negative.
So ugly. Product does not look like our cat. Absolutely awful.
What
The
one
slippers.
said, like, my son wanted a dog that wouldn't run away, so they.
That'll solve that problem.
When I step on my dog's slippers, it doesn't feel like stepping on them.
How does this lady not see the resemblance?
Yeah, I was going to say, I see the resemblance very clearly. I mean, if you really wanted to pick it apart, the whiter part of the white on his top of his muzzle is much longer in the plush version than the real version.
How about
And the
eye
stuffed
colors?
animal doesn't lay down like my dog does.
Yeah. Yeah, see, I don't know. And if I spend a lot of money on this and then I'm disappointed, then I'm really going to be sad. But they keep, because now I'm on their mailing list, so they keep emailing me, and every time I get another email, I think about it, like, do I want to do it? That's really funny, like a little shopping bag with your...
So they were selling for a while, like around Halloween on Instagram or not Instagram, on some site, Etsy, masks. Literal, like you could take a person's face and they would print the face on a mask and you could pull the mask down and over.
Oh, man.
And I swear I pulled that thing up 4 times and almost ordered your face 4 different times, Seth, just to mess with you.
That would be funny. That would be a funny thing to do. I wonder if I could get a plush toy version of you made, Matthew. Maybe I can send them photos of you and see. And I'll even tell them. I'll say, "This is my pet, Matthew."
Too far.
My pet spot, yeah.
They'll probably write back saying, "Sorry, we don't do humans." That would be funny though if they could. Imagine coming to QuickBooks Connect with like a life-size plush version. Now that would be funny.
Always wanted a clone, right? All right,
Yep.
so I got a joke for everybody. Maybe
All right.
or not. How much does a millennial weigh?
1,000 pounds.
An Instagram.
No, that's funny.
Mm.
Social media jokes. You got social media jokes.
Teresa actually came up with a risque bookkeeper pickup line. Go ahead, Teresa.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Yeah, but since Teresa's apparently willing to share it.
Okay, if you're gonna go risque, I found one that's more risque than what I typed.
Well, let's have both of them then.
Okay, the risque one, in my opinion, was lady in the streets freaking the spreadsheets.
All right.
No, I think the other one's worse, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the implications of double entry.
See, my mind didn't go there.
Oh, wow.
Well,
You got to remember that our mind is already there.
yeah, we were born with our minds there.
Yeah. Okay. I think I have a meeting or something.
Yeah, there we go. Teresa's blushing now.
So
all right.
here's one. I'm going to show it to you because I'm not going to read it. I don't know how to make it bigger. Oops.
That's what she said.
No, we're just
I
there.
knew that was coming. Okay, I'm not going to say anything.
All right, today's episode is rated PG-13.
Hi, we are way past PG-13, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at R status.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if anybody saw that one, but
I saw a quick flash of it.
I missed it. You have to do it again.
It was
what's
very-
6 inches long, 2 inches wide, and drives women wild? $100 bill.
Yeah.
All right.
When I made it bigger, it wouldn't.
You got to be careful with that phrase here.
Today you do. Today you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
there we go. I think I fixed it. I'll show it to you.
Than 100.
You could just right click and download it.
Oh my gosh, what's going on?
And now we have QuickBooks.
Oops, email.
There we go.
Hey,
That was the actual answer to the riddle is QuickBooks Live. $100 bill. Yep.
painful puns. Nice.
All right, what else? Matthew, if you had someone special, what would you be doing for Valentine's Day tonight?
Well, you guys are going to think I'm cheesy, but I'm a firm believer you don't wait till Valentine's Day to show them that you appreciate them.
Mhm.
So
Every day is Valentine's Day.
Heck no.
I told my husband this morning.
No. I don't know. It's been so long since I've actually had a Valentine that way. I don't remember what it'd be like, but generally I would make them dinner if they liked the way I cooked. I would try
Are you a good cook?
something special. Well, it doesn't mean that they like the way I cook or what I eat.
Yeah, but generally speaking,
Yeah.
you know, there are people who are good cooks and people who are not so much, right?
I would find something unique to our relationship, something that we've shared, like a restaurant we enjoy or something of that nature, and take them there. I personally, the one day of the year I do not ever like to bring flowers is Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that if I do that, it devalues every other time I do it, because I like to show somebody I care about them because I care about them, not because of a scheduled day, if that makes sense.
No, of course. Look, but today's a day, obviously, that people look to go out of their way to make sure they remember to do. You know, like one of the things I'll do on and off is I'll just randomly come home with flowers on Friday, right?
Yeah.
That's a pretty common thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think as men, frankly, we often overlook how important these things are. And I realize that because whenever I do it, and even when I think maybe it's not that big of a deal, I can tell by how much she appreciates it that it's a big deal. You know, they just like to know that we're thinking of them. And by and large, I'm generalizing here, but most men suck at reminding their partners that they're thinking of them.
So I read this woman posted something really great this week. She said, I don't care if you get me anything or nothing as long as you get me. And I loved that so much because like in my relationship, it's not like flowers, right? Like it's like the little things that I don't even know I need done, just doing them.
Right. Well, I might take Shannon's idea, a page out of Shannon's book, and just, go arrange for my wife and I to go to the shooting range down the street from here. And we've actually talked about doing that. And so I think that's like just such a cool thing to do. The other thing I want to take her to do is, because it's getting bigger and bigger, it seems, over the last couple of years, is axe throwing, right?
Oh, yeah. That is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody to learn how to throw an axe.
That sounds like it would hurt my back.
Yeah, well, that's the reason I've hesitated, especially because my wife does have a bad back.
I am such a horrible thrower. I might end up.
You end up with the axe in the back of your head as you're swinging it over.
But it just seems like a fun way to kind of like get your frustrations out. Hopefully not at each other, right? But, just a fun way to kind of just, get some release. Wait, wrong words.
Josh, would you share that out publicly, buddy?
Oh, I said, so I used to work at a gun range and teach people how to use firearms too. And women are generally better shooters than men.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean
They
just better
really
aim?
are. Well,
They're better welders as well.
they are.
It's a fun fact.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Their center of gravity is different, and they're better welders than men.
Interesting. I believe it.
we see it all the time in our classes. The women have never touched a gun before they did pick up the gun and shoot it right at the target. But we don't teach marksmanship. We teach defensive.
You teach gun classes then now?
Yeah, I'm NRA and USCCA certified firearms instructor.
That's cool. That's very cool.
I haven't actually taught a class by myself, but I could.
So what other fun things, different things, not the usual boring dinner and a movie? What are some other fun things we can do? We've got going to the gun range. We've got axe throwing, right? But make sure you don't have a bad back, right? What else can we do?
Somewhat decent aim.
Yeah. But at least you're kind of standing side by side and throwing it in front of you, right? So hopefully there's not like your partner's not in danger of any.
But like if you're someone that like throws and the things like throw backwards, like.
So what you're saying is you don't teach them to throw an axe like you would say for pool, where you're behind them, right? Or the person like in front.
Right. All of a sudden, like you're cocking back to get ready to throw it. And boom, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about your head. Yeah.
What about
fun, cool ideas, different things we can do? Dave and Buster's. Who doesn't like video games, right?
That's good.
But I'm curious to hear from the women here about that. Is that something you would think was a fun thing for your partner to take you to do?
So here's the fun thing is like, what if for women, like I love video games. My husband doesn't.
That's funny.
You know, so.
When we took
he
Matthew
likes to
there.
work.
Yeah.
Like if he's like, let's go, work on the farm. That's the fun thing to do.
I guess maybe if you do it together, maybe there's some fun types of things you can do on the farm, but we won't go any further than that.
Gardening.
Gardening.
Yeah, gardening. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, what do you do with someone who's it's work for them to have fun? Right?
I don't know, maybe take them out of their comfort zone. Because, yeah, I could say it's fun for me to work on spreadsheets. I do really enjoy it. But I'm pretty sure I would never in a million years even think to suggest that my wife and I spend Valentine's Day, like, making spreadsheets.
Actually, that sounds fun, right? Like
maybe we can make a spreadsheet of fun things to do on Valentine's Day that we're not doing because we're busy making the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Right? When we took Matthew to Dave & Buster's for his birthday to surprise him, it was a lot of fun, but more importantly, I want to point out that his business partner, noted that of all the games in the whole place, Matthew and I were playing the most retro game. It was like Space Invaders something, but it was a different kind of Space Invaders. But yeah, it was funny. He's like, of all the games you guys can be playing in here, this is what you choose.
Yep.
What's
even more funny is I was using the red gun and you were using the blue gun, and I can't see red.
Oh, but you had I don't remember if you actually had your glasses with you that day.
I could see it was bright enough, but Dave & Buster's was a lot of fun. And because you can do skee ball, you can do all kinds of things. Because people think of games like it's not necessarily all video games, right? So it does bridge.
Like air hockey, skee ball.
Yeah, like those are fun things you can do with a partner, right?
Go play pool. That's always like, I don't know if that's still in to do, but I always think that's fun.
I remember, I don't know if it was the case here in California, but in New York for many years, pool halls were a big thing. They were opening up like right and left, and that's what I used to do a lot of the time, just on a Friday night is go shoot pool in a pool hall, right? They have a bar near me that's got a bunch of pool tables that I've often thought of going, but bars aren't the sort of place I first think of.
Do they have any family? Because I used to go to the family billiards where they don't serve alcohol. Those are always fun.
I have to look. The last time I was at one was years ago, and it was in Hollywood, which isn't too much of a drive, but it's not the best area, that particular part of Hollywood anyway. So I don't know. I have to Google it and see if there's any like decent billiard halls that aren't serving alcohol yeah,
they're called family billiards and they don't serve alcohol, and then it's fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
a good concert or theater is a great thing. Not just a movie, but a concert or theater, right?
Theater, yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I hesitate on that kind of thing is then you're not really talking to each other because you're just watching the performance, whatever it is.
It's like the same as going to a movie together, right?
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you enjoy, if you enjoy the art and the culture, that's fine. Like I would rather go to a museum or something, so where we can walk around and kind of enjoy it together. I guess that's what I'm trying to get out of everyone here is like, what's your ideal night out tonight on Valentine's Day? If you had your druthers, Courtney, you've been quiet. What would you, if there was no limitations, you could do anything you wanted, what would that look like?
I would probably be somewhere like Turks and Caicos.
Somewhere like where?
Turks and Caicos.
Oh, nice.
Nice tropical islands.
Nice tropical vacation. I love that. Yes. Yep. Cell phones not allowed, right? Mm-hmm. Just the two of us.
Yep.
Doing our thing, enjoying our time together.
If there was one thing I could change from past relationships, it would be buying less things, like the bike that's sitting on the side of my house now for X number of years, and going on more adventures or trips together, because
Yeah,
the
it's all-
memories I still
Yes.
use all the time,
Yeah,
right?
It's so much more
experiences are so
memorable.
much more valuable
Yes.
than things.
Bicycle or motorcycle?
It's a bicycle.
Gotta specify.
You're right, because motorcycle would be a much grander vacation than a
Amen.
bicycle.
That's something we would do for Valentine's.
But a bicycle, like if you both had a bicycle, that's something fun you would go do.
Yeah. Yeah, as a
Shannon, are you
couple-
trying to speak something to Jamie through the internet?
He's been working on the shower for 3 weeks, and we so far have just the shower liner installed. And I don't know what other progress has been made, but he works on it a little bit all the time.
Mhm.
But you know, when it's
Throw 'em under the
with
bus.
with the wind chill, when it's 35 below and the actual air temperature is like 18 below, it would be really nice to be able to shower in my house instead of having to leave and go shower and come back.
So the moral of the story is, honey, for Valentine's today, for Valentine's Day today, I got you a contractor.
We're still in a legal battle with our last contractor, so that
Oh,
wouldn't
God.
that would not be a good gift for me.
Yeah. I pretty much walked away from my recent contractor that I was using.
Does
And it's-
anyone have good contractor?
It
store?
seems like they're notoriously stuck on spreading themselves too thin because they constantly need money coming in. So especially, and I hear this story over and over again, and then I experienced it firsthand. As they're nearing the end of your job, they're not really getting any more money out of you until completion. I was smart enough to withhold $500 from him. I should have withheld $1,000 in retrospect, and I wanted to withhold $1,000, but he was asking me to do it based on $500, and I should have pushed back and said no. Anyway, so between the $500 I withheld from him and the $700 I advanced him for materials he never provided, I'm out $200 net. So basically I said, I'm not going to get into a legal battle. I'm going to walk away. Eventually we're going to hire somebody to finish the job, and then I might take him to small claims to pay what I had to pay somebody else to do the job he was supposed to do. Because that would be worth it. That's worth, for what we have left to do, that's worth at least a few $1,000s, I think. And that's worth
This
going
is
to
over $100,000 in damages to our brand new house.
That's awful. Like damage where they actually damaged the existing structure,
Well,
not just not doing the job they were supposed to?
They didn't, there's a lot of code violations. Most of our plumbing is illegal. Our windows and our siding is all installed wrong. And then it's a structured insulated panel house because they're supposed to be more energy efficient. And then he only used half the insulation in the roof that he was supposed to.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So, well, it's a little more, well, we're supposed to have a minimum of R49 in the roof, and he did R30.
If you love a bookkeeper, raise your glass.
Hard to understand that one. If you love a bookkeeper, yeah. What does that mean? If you love it, raise your glass and not raise your standards. Okay.
It's a coffee cup saying.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. By the way, while we were talking, I got my email from Disney Plus with their Valentine's Day suggestions for what to watch. Greg, maybe this is what you can do. They're suggesting Disney's fairy tale weddings.
Did you subscribe to Disney Plus?
I did right away because I wanted The Mandalorian.
Have
And
you watched everything you want to watch already?
and then plus they've got what do you call it? They had a deal with Verizon. If you're on Verizon's like 5G, one of their 5G plans or whatever, you get a year of it for free. So I took advantage of that. I basically snorted The Mandalorian. I couldn't get enough of it. And but then when I signed on and I saw the incredible library of content they've got, to me, like, it's a no-brainer to pay $7 a month when the year is up. I mean, they have all the National Geographic stuff, all the Marvel Comics stuff, of course, the whole Star Wars. You know, it's an amazing library of content, what they've got. And, of course, what they're doing now that this is out is they're pulling the rights from any other streaming services.
Oh, yeah.
Which is smart. I would do the same thing, right? Some people are like, oh, that's not nice. Or, you know, but no, what else? Why else? What else would you do? You know? Anyway, so I love Disney Plus. There's also Never Been Kissed, While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman, and then 10 Things I Hate About You is great. I've actually seen that a few times. And then, of course, you have Disney's Cinderella, 70, and it's the 70th anniversary of Cinderella. And then if you like animated, there's What Is Love, there's Tangled, and WALL-E. So there you have
And this
it.
is if you have Verizon for cellular service?
Yeah, the Verizon cell plan, you have to be on like a 5G plan or something. Bottom line is if you go to Disney Plus, and then you'll see the information for how to get it through Verizon.
Okay.
But yeah, because when I started watching The Mandalorian, I was like, it was funny. I saw this meme with this guy who looks like he's been smoking crack for 5 days, but the caption is, got any more of them Mandalorian episodes? It's just so good.
The other one that caught my attention on Netflix, which is relative to Valentine's Day, was Joe. Oh, no, You, the movie You. Or TV show You.
Oh, yeah?
You is pretty creepy. It's awesome.
I haven't seen that.
Is
I
that
don't know how to feel about that one.
Stalks the girl?
Yeah. They almost normalize stalking, don't they?
Yeah, totally normalize stalking.
Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, well, everybody does it,
That's funny.
I
Trying to
guess.
get to romance almost.
It's like, yeah, they try to make stalking like romantic.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure.
I've done one of those, Josh.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Did you like it?
I'm sorry?
Did she like it?
She loved it. I won Valentine's Day that year.
She told me that she was going to get me the same thing, and she didn't, and that I made her look hotter than she made herself.
Did you get the actual book yet?
Yeah. I gave it to her a couple days ago because, I'll be working till 8 at least tonight because tax season. So.
See, your Valentine's Day
Nothing more romantic than tax season.
Your Valentine's Day gift could have been coming home early tonight and taking a break and spending it with her.
She understands. I mean, tax season, 12 hours a day for 3 months straight. So
I know. No, that's one of my own personal things. I sort of hate the fact that tax season eats up so much of people's lives. I have this very idealistic theory that somehow if we balanced better and got more rest, you wouldn't need to put in all those hours to get the same work done. We were talking about that in 97 and up this week.
My goal is to transition everybody to a monthly subscription service, and just make things easier where, we have steady reoccurring work, and then tax season is only those businesses at some point where I don't have to work past 5. So
yeah. And it's kind of one of the reasons I don't do taxes is because I don't want to get stuck in that rut. I want to be able to do what I want when I want. I want what I want. That's why I like doing courses and stuff, because I can put those online and sell them all day long and all night and not have to show up to do that all the time. But I get it. I remember when I worked at a CPA firm years ago, and I was planning a trip to go visit my parents, and I wanted to do it in March. And the partner was like, "You can't go anywhere in March." I'm like, "Why not?" He's like, "It's tax season." I'm like, "So since you've been a CPA, you've never gone skiing? Because that usually happens during tax season." And he's like, "No, I gave up skiing for taxes." And my thought, honestly, was, how sad is that I would give up something I really enjoy for my profession? That's exactly the opposite of what life is supposed to be. We're supposed to be doing what we do for a living to support doing the things that we want to do for fun. And we've just all got this so backwards in our society. And I'm not sort of shaming you, Josh. It's not just you, it's our whole profession. It's like something's very wrong with the way we line this up, that we stack all these hours in during tax season, and it's like there's got to be a better way. I guess that's the bottom line.
My last trip really
opened my eyes to that.
Matthew?
Saying my last trip really opened my eyes to that. I have been extremely, extremely guilty of work-life balance, and I'm putting it out there in the world so you can call me out on it if I start converting back. But after taking 3 weeks off, literally, it felt great to be able to come back, and the world didn't fall apart. Everything was fine. Everything was great.
Yeah.
And it's all because I've got an amazing team that we were able to do it. But it's just not worth it. It's not worth stressing so much trying to push and like over deliver too many things. It's just not worth it.
It's like, I think it's a Gandhi quote that I'm going to paraphrase here because I don't remember it exactly, but it basically says how, we spend all of our time when we're young making money so that we can turn around and spend all of our money fixing our health, which most of this problems resulted from the fact that we spent all of our time just working and not taking care of ourselves, And that's why I love the fact that we stressed in 97 and Up this week how important it was to figure out the balance, right?
Take Valentine's Day to spend it with that significant other, right?
Yeah, and say, you know what? Screw taxes and screw my clients for one night, right?
Unless what you're doing is what you love and it does refresh you, right? It's going to be so individual, each individual person.
Right, but as a couple, I'm sure that's not what the two.
But I always say that because like both me and my husband are go, but we always make time to talk. We just do.
Yeah, as long as you make that time,
But it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be Valentine's night. Maybe it's Valentine's at 2 a.m. because we both were going.
Sure, because that's when you have time. That's when you can get together, right? Yeah.
So it's so individual, but it is important that you do.
Yeah, there has to be a balance. Look, I love what I do probably more than most, but at a certain point, I recognize that I have to stop, unplug, and spend time with her. And she doesn't love what I do. I mean, but you know what I mean. She wouldn't want to do what I do all day. So, for me, at a certain point, I've got to stop. And one thing I started doing towards the end of last year that I'm going to start doing again soon is, on Fridays, I was pretty much taking the day off by like 11, 12, 11 in the morning, 12 noon, and going to the gym, swimming laps, right? Getting my health taken care of, and then coming back and maybe doing a work for a couple of hours, just some catch-up stuff, but pretty much being done by 3, 4 o'clock. And then it's 3, 4 o'clock. I would go out and get us. There was a particular restaurant that we like to get, certain food from. It's called Portos. It's a very well-known Cuban bakery cafe out here that everybody loves. The lines are always down the street for it, but and there's this, we love their chicken Caesar salad, and they also have these grilled chicken sandwiches. So every week for a while, I was going and getting that. It was like becoming a ritual. And then I'd bring it home. And then after a while, we said, okay, we need to do something different. And so we did. We started changing it up a little bit. But that's, to me, that's how I balance, right? That's how I do it. But you're right, Jennifer. If you love what you do, there's nothing wrong with doing it.
It's just finding your balance for you. But it is important because in this culture especially, it just seems like it's to take any downtime. You can sometimes feel guilty about that, and we shouldn't feel guilty about that.
Yeah. No, I've learned not to feel guilty about that because I put in plenty of hours, and when I find myself starting to feel guilty about it, I'm like, I just stop myself right away. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I have nothing to feel guilty about, like nothing.
Right. And it's funny because nothing actually, like everything that we think is going to fall apart actually never usually fall. I've never.
In fact, I was even discussing this with my wife this week because we were talking about, I've been reading a lot of articles lately about how some people are starting to say that Slack, for example, is becoming sort of counterproductive because it becomes a distraction in and of itself where you're just constantly in Slack feeling like you got to respond to everything. And and my wife and I were talking about this because at her company, they use Slack. It was actually my suggestion. This, first of all, this idea that you have to respond immediately is false, right? That's part of what we discussed in 97 Up this week is that you have to compartmentalize the time that you spend responding to things in Slack, just like we've said for years you have to do with email. Set aside 2 times a day where you'll go in there and respond, and then anything else that comes up in between, they're either going to get a response on the second time that day, or they're going to get a response the first time the next day. In other words, rarely is something, unless you're an ER doctor, in which case you're probably not using Slack, you probably don't need a response immediately. And I jokingly say to people, if it's a real emergency, dial 911. So there's no reason we can't compartmentalize that kind of time that we spend. And to your point, Jennifer, what I found in many cases is that a lot of times people will ask me questions because it's just easier to ask me than to try and figure it out on their own. And when I wait long enough to respond, usually by the time I go to respond, I've got another message from them saying, never mind, I figured it out, right? And then it's like, great, my work is done here. a lot of times, remember, people are asking you those questions for that reason. They're just being, frankly, lazy. And if you get them in the habit that you're not going to answer right away, then they're going to learn that they have to, some things they're going to have to figure out on their own, and they can figure it on their own. And when they do, that knowledge is theirs. They own it. They won't have to ask you ever again because of having gone through the struggle of having to figure it out. That's when you learn things the best, right? That's when you don't learn things at such a deep level that you never forget. And there you have it. That's my rant for the day. Right? Josh,
Yeah.
take the night off. Surprise her, even if she does understand. That's my commandment to you tonight. You can make up for it on Monday. Get up early.
Or Saturday.
Are you going to watch our kids?
Well, no, do something with the kids at home. Bring food home. Enjoy.
Seth, I just want to introduce myself. I've been lurking
Peter.
here how are you all?
All the way from Ireland.
Yes. So Valentines is pretty much the same in Ireland as here. You know, there's lots of dilemmas. So
yeah, but you guys speak much better.
5 p.m. over here now, so I gotta get my wife some little thing, you know. So she told me not to get flowers, so I think I might get her a plant. She likes plants.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to see you, Peter.
It's good to see you all, you know. So it's sort of the end of my working day here. I'm pretty much wrestling with all the issues that everybody else is wrestling with, you know, trying to get more productive. And, you know, I've learned a lot. Maybe 10 years ago, I think I paid Seth $5 for, you know, 50 tips for QuickBooks Desktop. And it came in a PDF.
It was 140 QuickBooks tips. That was an ebook that Chris.
An ebook, yes. 140. So
140. They were tweetable tips. That was the whole idea, because Twitter was 140 characters then. Yep.
Excellent. Well, that was the start of my learnings from Seth. So I've been on and off. I've been dipping in and trying to. Continuous learning is the name of the game, I reckon.
You'll be happy to know that for the last probably 3 years now, I have going on a project called 140 QBO tips, and they're little short video tips, but I never released it because I never was able to get it finished. But now you may have just inspired me to revisit that and get that thing finished.
Oh.
It'll be the video form of it, but
sure.
And now you
you're
got to do 280.
What?
And now you got to do 280 because that's
no. I'm not doing 280. I'm just going to say times 2.
I hope you're joining 97 and up. It'd be great to hear your perspective on things.
Well, I am, and I have, but I haven't been jumping in, and that's another reason because partly because of the time difference, but it's not really an excuse, you know. It's chicken and egg. If you get more productive, you get more time. But I intend to, you know, avail of what's there because I've signed in and I got in at a good price.
The global perspective would be appreciated.
Global is interesting. Yeah, we sort of, you know, sometimes we sort of, you know, culturally we look towards, you know, we're in Europe. Some of our politicians, they either look for Berlin or Boston, whichever. We play both sides of the game, you know, and we're quite, you know, as a little country, we're sort of open and adaptable. There's a lot going on here at the moment.
If you can't make the live calls, you know, just get into Slack and join the conversation there, because that's going on 24/7, and it's great. It's been very lively in there, which is wonderful.
Well, that's so good.
I got a joke for you, Peter, that I just saw this morning.
Sure.
So, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, the first man married a woman from Italy. He told her that she was to do the dishes and house cleaning. It took a couple of days, but on the third day, he came home to see a clean house and dishes washed and put away. The second man married a woman from Poland. He gave his wife orders that she was to do all the cleaning, dishes, and cooking. The first day, he didn't see any results, but the next day, he saw it was better. By the third day, he saw his house cleaned, the dishes were done, and there was a huge dinner on the table. The third man married a girl from Ireland. He ordered her to keep the house clean, dishes washed, lawn mowed, laundry washed, hot meals on the table for every meal. He said the first day he didn't see anything. The second day he didn't see anything. But by the third day, some of the swelling had gone down. You could see a little bit out of his left eye. His arm was healed enough that he could fix himself a sandwich and load the dishwasher. Still has some difficulty when he pees.
Very good. Very
Gee,
good.
Josh, I wonder where you saw that.
Was that you?
Yes.
Oh,